topics, I'm going to primarily be talking about recognizing our, not your, but our, as a whole, recognizing our resiliency and what it is to be resilient, especially in times that are uncertain and unknown like we're in right now. So I'm going to bring that in a little bit later. But first, I wanted to leave it open for like questions from y'all as far as like maybe things that you have maybe, again, wanted more insight on, weren't sure how to approach something or even discuss it. Could be something that's sitting with you internally or something sitting with you that you wanted to bring up to someone else. How do you even approach the topic? How do you present it? Hi, Eve. How are you? Good evening. Thanks for coming through. There she is. There she is. What's up, Amara? How are you doing? So again, folks, this is more of a Q&A. Dive right in. If there's something that's on your mind, by all means, put it in the chat. If I can answer it for you or direct you into the right path, then we're onto something and we can go from there. It could also be enlightening and exciting or insightful for someone else here in the chat as well. No question is out of the mix in terms of I won't be embarrassed by your question. No matter where you're coming from with it, just be mindful. Be mindful of the audience. But again, like I said, I'm going to be talking about recognizing your resilience, especially in these uncertain times, and also learning to understand that bad things will happen to good people. And that's not necessarily to say, well, things always happen to me and I'm a good person and this and that. So it's not so much that things do happen. It's understanding that bad things or unfortunate things or unfair things will happen to good people. So it's a lot of trying to remove that why me, or that almost like how they would say, not so much the victim mentality, but what can be known as a problem mindset. Why me, or why is this happening, or why now? So instead of being more problem mindset, looking more to the solution of understanding why these things occur and how we can, again, recognize that resiliency to move forward from it. Hey, Valentine, how are you? So, folks, fire away. Any questions you may have. If there are no questions, this may be a short Mental Health Monday. Hi, Eve. Why is it life is more challenging the older you get? You walk the straight and narrow, but life functions day to day, gets exhausting. Harder as me. Okay, so why is it that life is more challenging the older we get? You walk the straight and narrow, but life functions day to day, gets exhausting. Great question. It's not a simple answer, and that'll also speak to our topic that we're going to go over later in terms of recognizing your resiliency. So when you say you walk the straight and narrow, right? You try to live pretty clean or pretty consistent with your life in terms of your routine or the things that you're doing, or try to make the right decisions. But your life functions and your day-to-day, your in and out routine gets exhausting. Well, let me ask you this in return. Are you doing things that bring you joy? Are you doing things that bring you value? Or are you doing things more because it's in a sake of have to? And what I mean by that is, are you doing things that exhaust you physically, mentally, emotionally, in terms of like 16, 18-hour tiresome days? Like, is it your body is nonstop and doing those things? Or are you finding the things that you're doing, maybe, some, small little tasks, but they are tedious and repetitive, and they exhaust you? So the answer you have, not at all, no joy, and the only value is working because I have to. And there it is. There it is right there. So to pinpoint it, if you're doing things that aren't necessarily bringing you joy, yes, there's going to have that feeling or that sense of exhaustion, or there's no real effort or passion or energy behind it. I get where you're going. I'm not living. I'm existing. I'm in survival mode. So, hi, Eve. We've had this talk. Maybe not you and I, but somewhere along the way, you've had this talk. You kind of know this in terms of if you're doing things based on have to. And I put these always in this sense. I ask people to finish this sentence. I have to go to work because, and you would answer that question because have to pay bills, have to have responsibilities, have to put food on the table, have to. But have you ever asked yourself, I want to go to work? I get to go to work. There's a different perspective and a different mindset when you have that sense of purpose, that sense of passion, that drive behind it. And it may not be that it's the ideal or dream job that you wanted, but are you finding some sense of joy or purpose in it? Is it building towards something? Is it pushing you to a higher calling, a higher purpose? And if you can answer some of those questions and say, yes and no, maybe so, there's some things, but you said it. No, like you said, there's no joy in there. But understanding that, you do have those responsibilities and those priorities. You have to keep a roof over your head. And that's totally understandable. That's part of the process in that I have to maintain this lifestyle in order to, provide for my family, keep a stable house and everything like that. Like you said, live the straight and narrow. But you have to leave that room for growth. You have to leave that room and start maybe surrendering yourself to things that you want instead of just giving your life and existing to the things that you have, right? If all the things that you have are leaving you exhausted, empty, and not even able to enjoy maybe the little things that you do have, then what are you doing it for, right? So that's an honest question you could ask yourself. And I challenge you to maybe journal that or write that down, if it's a vision board or writing things down so you can see them, to say, what brings me joy? What are my intentions? What would I like to do? What do I want to do? And have that honest discussion with yourself to say that, this is what I want to, maybe lead my way into doing maybe in 2021. The one thing I have done in my life for me is get my college degree. But after the degree, I never kept the momentum going. Depending on the line of work. And to be honest, hi Eve, 80% of graduates recently, I think it's 78 to 80% of graduates do not work in the field that they graduated from. And I found that number astounding in that, one, there's a break somewhere in the college system or the educational system to where we're putting people out into the working world, but do the ends justify the means? Are they being paid properly? Are they burning out too quickly and moving on to something else? So it's an honest question to ask, where did the momentum stop? Did I burn out too fast? Did I maybe have a vision for this one job that I wanted and then it's not really what it all cracked up to be? Did my purpose take a detour? Did I go down this path with this college degree to go this way, and in turn it led me this way, and I don't know if I want to go that way, so now I'm kind of in limbo. So again, I invite you to come back to that question of, what do I want? What do I want? It's never too late in terms of timing. It's never too late to learn a new skill, learn a new trade, learn a new hobby. So I definitely challenge you and invite you to look into those things, and come back to me with that. Let me see what else we got here. Miss Denise, I used to be excited when I first joined Twitch. All I wanted was the emotes from different DJs and listen to the music. Now I'm like, if I get the emotes, fine. If not, oh well. The excitement just isn't there as much. And yes, we talked about that last week with Twitch addiction. Are you addicted? Addictive personality. And Twitch was one of those things in that it consumed us. Twitch does serve its purpose in that it took us away from a tough time. Many people weren't working. Many people were, going through emotional, mental breakdowns as far as they weren't sure what was on the horizon or what was happening. And Twitch saved a lot of people. But for some people, it did run its course. And you got to kind of step back in some ways, maybe look at it in a different perspective, maybe check out different channels, or maybe try to find something else, in the interim. Go into reading or podcast or audiobooks and try to find something that gives that little bit of sensation back for when you do come back to Twitch it's okay to step away and then come back to it. Moderation, as they say. Let me see. And I love that you guys are in the chat as well, helping out with everything. That's great. Vision boards, yes. Self-care is so important. It's so hard nowadays, and so much seems so bleak. DJ Cruz, what's up? What's up, bro? Fun fact, good luck with the job interviews. Yes, hi Eve. Definitely come back and let me know in terms of the challenges, or even if you're looking for other ways to focus that perspective. I have a board for keeping reminders. Good. Yeah, and vision boards, like I said, that's just one example. Vision boards is another way because everybody learns differently. I mean, never mind, like, again, the education system where everyone is sitting in a classroom collectively, we're looking at a board and whatever. Some people are auditory learners where they need to hear someone saying it to them. Some people are visual learners where they need video clips or PowerPoint presentations. Everybody has a different way of learning. So what might work for one person may not work for the other. So definitely try to, do what works for you. Think I just started the monotony of my life. Hi, Eve. With the monotony of your life, a lot of people go into that with hesitance or reluctance in that it's just the same old, same old. So here I am. This is what it is. It's not going to change. And they're hesitant or reluctant to try something new or challenge themselves because they feel, not saying you, but I'm saying a lot of times people may put a time limit on things or an age on things and say, I'm either too old or, that's past my time or I don't have the time, and they make excuses for it. So try to meet those things, that monotonous feeling, try to meet them with more excitement. And again, challenge yourself. Step out of that comfort zone. Do not have any hobbies. I want to look into golf or tennis lessons soon. Find your niche. Yeah. Hi, Eve, especially with the pandemic. I understand. I don't know exactly where you are located, but in terms of things being closed, some things are reopening, but, things being closed, but just taking simple walks. Like I said, getting out of your comfort zone. If your thing is routine every day, going to work, coming home, driving to and from, take a different route, however you say it. Take a different route. Or take a detour, take the long way to work, take the long way home, stop off and take a walk, go into nature, try different things in Dallas. So you're wide open. So being out there, going into nature, sitting by water or something like that. Again, just clearing your head, offering yourself different perspective, and really slowing down. Because a lot of times when we do, like you said, the mundane, the repetitive lifestyle, and just things are the same in and out, and there's no real joy or thrill, that means you're just going through the motions and you're not slowing yourself down. You're not, taking the time to enjoy things. Because when you do slow down, the things that you kind of ignore will speed up and they'll present themselves to you. And then it's up to you to grab them and catch them. Hey, West Coast 88. How are you? Thank you for the follow. Give me 1 second here, guys. Okay. I had to turn my heater off. It got real hot down here. So anything else as far as questions while I have you here? Anything else you guys want to dive into? How are you guys with... I guess where we are, it's been almost a year, right? Yeah, it's been a year. It'll be a year on Wednesday that we had our first corona case here in the U.S. And it's been 10 months now since the whole quote unquote lockdown, or things have changed. Fast news. What's up, Miss Tiara? See, yeah, and Miss Denise, I was going to say that too in regards to the Twitch aspect, by getting the emotes and feeling like we're part of something, right? Like, so we sub to DJs, and I appreciate all my subs and followers and everybody that tunes in. But I totally understand what you're saying there, Miss Denise, in terms of like there are so many DJs and you feel bad. I feel bad when I can't listen to all of them. But keep in mind, you are not obligated, nor are you responsible to have to be there all the time. Again, the support and the presence is definitely appreciated, but we all do have our own lives, and putting ourselves first is not selfish in terms of self-care. So like I say, stepping away sometimes from Twitch or something that we're consumed by is not a bad thing. You don't owe anybody an explanation or an apology or a reason as to why you're doing it. You're doing it because, like you said, you kind of get burnt out by it. It gets exhausting, it gets overwhelming, and it gets too time consuming. So again, like we talked about last week with addictive personality, it's recognizing when those things begin and stepping away from them. Being able to just step back and say, I'm going to take the day off. Instead of being on Twitch all day, 8, 10, 12 hours, I'm going to, binge watch Netflix. I have the time, or podcasts, or audiobooks, catch up on some books that I needed to read. It's doing those things, but understanding that no one needs an explanation or any, reasoning as to why you're not there. If you feel comfortable with them enough to, on a friendly basis and say, hey, listen, I'm stepping away, they'll understand. And if not, you didn't deserve your time anyway. Definitely agree. I took a step back from Facebook and IG and Snapchat. Seeing nothing but negative stuff has taken a toll on me. Yes, West Coast. Yes, in terms of social media. And that was actually going to be my topic tonight, before leaning towards the Q&A. I wanted to discuss about how all of us, I'm not saying this in a negative, how all of us seem to have an opinion on everything. And it's not, I say that laughing and that because we are so consumed and we are so overwhelmed with media, social media, and wanting to be right and wanting to have the news yesterday and having everything in front of us. And it gets so overwhelming because who's right? Who's wrong? Who cares? Right? Who cares? We're arguing about this and we're arguing about that and we're doing this, and it's like next week we're on to the next thing. And then on to the next thing. We don't even know what we were arguing about 2 weeks ago. So taking that step back and recognizing that, again, this comes into the recognizing the resilient part that I'm going to talk about later. Taking a step back from those things. If you find yourself that you're more frustrated, annoyed, overwhelmed by the things that you like to enjoy or used to enjoy, social media, Twitch, just for examples, take that step back. And if you find yourself when you're not on those platforms, again, Snapchat, Instagram, when you're not on there, Twitch, if you're thinking about it, and if you are thinking about it, if it's resonating with you, are you thinking about it in a positive light? Are you thinking about it in a rational light? Or again, are you getting more anxiety? Are you getting more stressed? Then the answer is you got to step away from it and make that conscious decision. You're aware it's bringing you mental and physical stress. The conscious decision is to do something about it. Fun fact, I shared a song I wrote on Facebook and Instagram. It felt bad. I didn't get a lot of likes though. I know it's a good song. I got some feedback from family. How do you protect yourself from like culture? Oh, yes. Fun fact. So I'm going to say this in two ways. Anything you put out there in terms of content, whether it's music, art, entertainment, whatever the case may be, whatever it is you put out there, the main question to ask yourself is, why am I doing this? If the answer is because I like it and it feels good to me, then everything else is secondary. And that's it, mainly to share the art. So if you're doing this because you want to share your art and you want to share your passions and your creativity with the world, the likes and the comments are secondary. You see what I mean? So you're doing it because you want to do it. And that is the reason and the rationale. The same reason we stream here on Twitch, the same reason I do this Mental Health Mondays. I can do this I'm only looking to see how many are here, for 20 some people, or I can do this for 2 people. I'm doing it because I want to do it. I feel like there's something I could offer. I feel like there's something I can present and share with people, maybe inspire or enlighten, and that's it. Now, granted, if there was 2 people, it wouldn't be much of a Q&A, but you see my point in that I'm doing it because I want to do it. Everything after that is secondary. So that other stuff that you're feeling, I didn't get enough likes or I didn't give enough comments, that's not the reason you put it out there. Maybe it's the timing. Okay, I did it on a Monday at 2 in the afternoon and it didn't get enough likes. So maybe I'll share it again Monday night. Maybe I'll share it on a weekend. Maybe I'll share it and do different hashtags, something along those lines. It's all in that. If you're doing it because you want to be noticed and you want, some kind of like external validation, then you have to ask yourself, how do I market this? How do I brand this, as I say? How do I present this in a different way? But you said it there. If you're doing it to share the art, then the job is done. Everything after that, you cannot control. Let me see. Any suggestions on how to get a young adult to seek counseling? And they say their way to process is to just cry and let it go. Ooh, great question. Great question. Young adult, and I'm gonna think we're talking 18 to 24, young adult in that area. Trauma is different in that they just cry and let it go, and that could be a way to process it. By just crying, they're allowing themselves that emotion, crying, getting it out. Whether they do it personally or privately, whether they do it privately or publicly is totally up to them. So again, 22. Okay, so in that range. Whether they choose to cry and they've made their peace with it. Again, it comes back to not having to explain themselves. If that's how they're able to process it by crying in the shower, crying in the car, crying in their bedroom, crying to a friend or something like that, I think the thing for you, High Eve, is to not personalize it if they're not coming to you. If they're able to say that they're processing it, they cry and they let it go, and they're able to let it go, that's great. That's great. Rather than bottle it up and hold that emotion in and let it fester and sit there and then build up other emotions that they're trying to keep held down, then that's different. But if they're able to process it, cry, realize, or cry, whatever, yell, whatever the emotion is, be able to get it out and then let it go, they're letting go of the stress, of the tension, of the feeling, and moving on. I don't want her to suffer a mental break because she's not solving anything. She's just pushing it down, and I feel she would go into system mental overload one day. Well, okay, so that's two different things. If she's processing it by crying and letting it go, then she's letting it go. But if you're saying it, she's just crying and then pushing it down, again, have you had that conversation with them? Is she really... A lot of it, and I know as parents, I'm assuming this is your child or someone close to you, a lot of times we personalize their grief or their feeling or whatever it is they're going through because it's the parental nature to want to fix or want to help. But when they get to that age, 18, 22, 24, a lot of times they kind of figure it out on their own. They're conditioned one way, but if they have that relationship where you guys can have conversations and, maybe talk things out, maybe that's their way of doing it by saying, I cried and I let it go. And that's it. Yeah. So, you would know your daughter obviously better than we do, but it's more or less trying to just say, taking their word for it and respecting the fact that, hey mom, it's not you, it's me. And this is how I handled it. I cry, I processed it, and then I let it go. Leave it there. Respect that. Respect their feelings and respect their, what they went through. And say, okay, I trust that, you're able to let it go. But if you need me, I'm here. Okay? Instead of pressing the issue, or losing their trust or losing, that communication. Let me see. She could be letting it go. Yeah, she could be. She could be. This is side conversation here. Oh, yeah, cruise and fun fact, yeah. And yeah, like I said, if you're doing things for the sake of doing them because you want to do them, then everything else after that you cannot control. It's like throwing a ball in the air. You throw the ball in the air, the only thing you have control over is, where you are, your body, where you're going to be to land to catch it. You can't control the wind, where the ball goes. It's only thing you have is the release of the ball. That's it. That's it. Everything else is an adjustment. So if you put that song out into the world, or that, that poem or whatever out into the world, you have nothing else that you can control after that. Whether they say you're great, whether they say you suck, you have no control over that. They're going to say what they're going to say, think, or feel. But the only thing you can control is how you respond to it, or if you respond at all. What about ways to get over the winter blues? Winter blues. Okay. You're talking like seasonal depression, SAD, if you will, seasonal affective disorder. Ways to get over the winter blues. Again, first things first is to recognize, is it depression, a form of depression? Is it something that's affecting you at specific times? Like really, really watch when you're affected, or notice when you're affected. And again, this comes back to self-awareness with, the sun has gone down and it gets colder as opposed to when the sun was up. It's, I can bear that. So it's colder. My body aches more. My lower back, therefore my mood is more affected, or is it when I wake up in the beginning of the day and I just know, there we go. It's already cold. This day's going to suck. You have to try to notice those patterns with the winter blues, because just like the season, things are going to change. So is it something that is sitting with you every single day? Is it something that, you're able to pinpoint? I know with people still stuck indoors in seasonal depression, people are getting hit twice. Yeah. Yeah. And fun fact, I was going to say vitamin D, that was going to be my next step in terms of, saying, checking out your diet or your routine. Are you doing the same things every day? Kind of like Eve was saying, as far as doing the mundane or the routine. Are you set in a routine that worked for you when the weather was nice, but now it's not as nice because things are cold? Vitamin D, Eve, for just, the efficiency as far as the vitamins that we need to take in. If you're the seasonal depression, as far as being inside, you can have a lack of vitamin D, not getting enough sunshine. 20 minutes of sunlight. So, if you're not getting enough sunlight, vitamin D will help with that. But again, with seasonal, the first things first with seasonal is, again, recognizing where it happens. Is it in the middle of the day, end of the day? Is it routine? Is it something you feel almost instantly? Just trying to pinpoint those things. And then getting out of those routines. It's easier said. I know it's easier said, but a lot of it is, really pushing yourself to not watch 5 seasons of Netflix, to, maybe not, have to clean every single thing around the house because it's always dirty. And it's building up. It's making you more affected. It's just changing those routines and getting out of those ruts or getting out of your own way. I mean, there's a number of things. I can give you links on that too. But a lot of it is, like I said, recognizing that. And speaking of recognizing, so folks, recognizing your resiliency, or your resilience, I should say. So, what exactly is resilience, right? Like I've mentioned it on my channel before. A lot of us here have gone through this tough year. It's been a tough process for a lot of us. West Coast, I had to stop listening to depressing music as well. Yes, that will definitely trigger in terms of what you're feeling. If you're enhancing that feeling or that mood, yeah, definitely. And that's good. That's the key, in that you're aware that the music was making you depressed, so therefore switch it up. Another good example, yeah. So going through this past year, folks, we've been pretty resilient. Those of us who have been hard on ourselves or down on ourselves because our routine or things have changed, we missed out on that vacation, or we weren't able to do certain things that we're used to doing. We lost a job. Things are, again, they're changing. But are we resilient? And the answer is yes, because we're still here and we're going through it. We're going to get through it one way or the other. So if you look on the screen here, what is resilience? Well, resilience is an ability to recover from or adjust easily to misfortune or change. Now, the key word in there, can I define anxiety in my words? Yeah. Okay. Let me bring this back down then. I'll do that real quick. Can I define anxiety in my words, like as far as how I would present it? Anxiety to me is the unknown, a fear of the unknown, in terms of like how I like to describe it to people. 99% of the thoughts you're having are optional. That's kind of like the way I present anxiety. Now, not so much the disorder. I'm not talking about the anxiety disorder, like folks who have an actual mental health disorder of anxiety, but to know that we all, in some way, shape, or form, have a form of anxiety. It's normal. It's, I really shouldn't use that word in terms of what I do, but it's natural. There you go. In terms of being natural, and it's actually a healthy emotion because it lets us recognize things. It's again without diagnosing anybody or labeling or listing it as a disorder. Good. So then if we're not talking about disorder, then the way I would just say it in my own words is that it's the fear of the unknown. The fear of what lies ahead. And a lot of times that fear is more conditioning. Whether it was something that occurred to us before, we failed a test, or we got fired from a job, or an incident occurred, an experience happened, and we take that incident from the past and then relay it into things going forward. So we have a lot of anxiety going forward. I did this stream one time and the audio was really bad and I lost a lot of viewers. So therefore, going forward, I'm afraid that the streams are going to be bad and I'm going to lose viewers. See, the fear of the unknown. I have no idea what my future streams are going to be like. But because I had that one instance, I have that fear, that anxiety that it could happen again. And the good way to reverse or switch that fear is to channel the excitement. So a good counter to the fear of the unknown is the excitement of the unknown. And I tell people this too, fear and excitement are the same cognitive emotion. It's just which one you choose to give energy to. Again, based on your conditioning, based on your programming, if you will, as far as, the type of person you are. Fear and excitement. What type of person are you? You like roller coasters? Some people are afraid. Some people are excited. You like scary movies? You like haunted houses? Some people are afraid. Some people are excited. You like trying new things? You like staying in your comfort zone? Some people are afraid of trying new things. Some people are afraid, so they stay in their comfort zone. Are you excited? So it's things like that. Weighing the pros and cons, So if I'm anxious about something, identifying what it is I'm anxious about, and then also, hey, things could go wrong. Things could go right. Things could be really bad. Things could be really good. So that's one way to recognize also anxiety. Fun fact. Getting a tattoo. Nice. Unbreakable. Nice. So coming back here, folks, if you can, check your screen. Again, resilience. Resilience is an ability to recover from or adjust easily to misfortune or change. And this is from Merriam-Webster, right out of the dictionary. Again, that key word there, real quick. That key word there, easily. It's not something a lot of us, hey, that's easy for you to say. It takes me forever to adjust, or it takes me forever to recover from something. So again, recognize the resiliency is that easily, it may take a day, 3 days, 5 days, but you're recognizing it. That's how we're going to get to the easy part of making it, a little more easy or a little more comfortable, if you will, to manage. So for yourselves, something that you've been resilient about this year. Obviously, we'll use the coronavirus as an example in that we all went through it. We're all still currently going through it. But recognize where you were 9-10 months ago as opposed to where you are now. So the important thing is that you're healthy. I'm hoping you're healthy. You have your health. Others don't. You have a strong foundation, resources. You have people in your corner. Others don't, And it's not a compare and contrast, but I'm saying for yourself in that to recognize the good things that you have. Recognize the strengths as opposed to giving any credence or effort to the things that you need to work on. And with that said, I want to say this, if you check on the screen here, is the 6 domains of resilience. Because that's really, in terms of like really channeling what we're talking about here as far as what resilience is. Pretty much to sum up resiliency, we're advancing despite adversity. All right, so we're moving forward. All right, we may not be moving on, we're moving forward. We don't have a choice. We're moving forward despite everything that we're going through. So we're advancing despite adversity is a good way to sum up resilience. Yeah, it has been 10 months. Isn't that crazy? So I want to give you these 6 domains here. They all kind of like coincide with each other. So they'll all influence each other in one way. I want you to take a look at the top one the top one in the middle. Vision is the first one. Oh, Dave, don't tell me that. 10 more months to go. The top one in the middle is vision. So I feel vision, and also, in reading, I've researched that vision is probably the most important of all of the domains here. Because if you're able to have a sense about what your purpose is, your goals, even your personal vision for yourself, this here is the most important one, in that all these other domains are guided by this. So if you're able to not only have the vision and the sense of it, but able to define it, and walk in that purpose. So Eve, this kind of speaks to what you were saying too, in terms of feeling exhausted, feeling run down, finding that purpose, finding that vision, having a sense of it and having like a little understanding in terms of what are my goals? What do I want? Having that clarity. All right. So if you're having the clarity in this with your vision, it allows you to be decisive when facing tough choices. All right. So tough choice comes up. Lost my job, lost my routine, not able to go to the gym, not able to do these things, but you're able to be decisive. You're able to say, okay, well, I can't go to the gym, but I can work out at home. You know what? I might be able to work today, but I didn't really even like that job. So I have to make decisions. Okay, well, I lost my job, so I can check my savings are good. This will work for me to about this amount of time. You see what I mean? You're able to process these things, and not panic or freak out right away, because that's the initial reaction, right? Like we're going to like, oh no, hey, what's going on? But you have that vision. This is my purpose. This is my drive. These are my goals. And then boom, 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 boom. Having the clarity, because when you have the vision and the drive, the clarity is what keeps you focused. So you may not have all of the details that that line you up to where you want to be, right? So again, the instance or the experience happens. The adversity occurs. But if you have the clarity to keep yourself focused and say, well, I'm going through it. There's a speed bump, little detour, little roadblock, but I'm going to stay the course. I'm going to stay the course. Another distraction, stay the course. I'm not going to get boggled down with all that unimportant stuff. I'm not going to worry about the semantics or any of that specifics. No. So it's not like you had anything planned. So why not binge on the new season House of Cards? Huh? What? No. It's more just staying focused on what it is you want to do. Hey, Mixed Matt. What's up? How are you? Hi, Eve. Seeing this makes me feel like life should be lived out of a business plan that should be taught in high school. I mean, in some cases, yeah. I have my qualms about the education system, but that's why I'm here. That's why I feel this can be helpful and resourceful for many people. So, again, have the clarity. Don't get yourself distracted or boggled down by the things that aren't important. And understand your congruence. Wait, why are you using big words? All right. Congruence, that means all your actions are working together. All this larger vision that you have for yourself and sense of purpose, everything, your short-term goals, your long-term goals, it's all going together. It's all going to coincide with each other. Appreciate you, Haif. Thank you. One second. So again, with the congruence, is that everything is in alignment. All right. So we'll use the gym again as an example, because again, a lot of places did close and a lot of people lost their routine. Some people go to work and then they go to the gym, or vice versa. They work out and then they go, to work. So if they're not able to do those things, they freak out. Their routine is messed up. It throws them all out of whack. But if they have that clarity, the vision, if they have that vision and they have that clarity to say, okay, well, I'm going to adjust and I'm going to work out from home. But then they have the congruence and everything is going to flow because now, I can work out at home and then I have enough time to go get myself ready. I don't have to drive to a job. I can do it from, work from home, and everything kind of flows. All right. So everything is kind of moving, in alignment. It's going in the direction in which it wants. Kind of how they say the universe tends to work itself out. That's pretty much it. When you are in alignment and you are congruent with your vision and your purpose, it starts to flow. What I miss here? Hey, DJ Eyes, how are you? What's going on? Even though I worked in mental health sector, I'm still learning too, day by day. Yes, fun fact, every single day, doing every day. So moving on from vision, move to, I guess you're right. Composure would be the next one. So composure, once you have the vision, right? It's important to have the composure. So what's on there? Regulating your emotions, interpretation bias, calm and in control. So yes, regulating your emotions is important. Regulating emotions. How do I do that? Are you guys familiar with the fight or flight response? Right? When an instance occurs or something happens, right? It doesn't have to be traumatic, but something occurs. Are you the type to attack it and go at it full-fledged and go get it? Or do you, whoa, back up. This isn't for me. I got to run. I got to go, So fight or flight. Are you in it or are you out of there? So I'll give you an example. All right. So I'll give you an example. Let me see. I'm going to pick from 3 of these examples that I have. Let me see which one works here. Okay, I like this one. Okay, but yeah, like I said, regulating your emotions is important first in that you're able to recognize little hidden opportunities. So you're able to keep yourself composed. You don't freak out. You weigh the pros and cons. You look at every decision or, the instance for what it is. Okay, so good. You're familiar with fight or flight. Good. So then by keeping your composure, you're not making this a big crisis. Everything, as the saying goes, you're not making a mountain out of a molehill. All right. You're able to compose yourself. You're driving to work and a traffic jam. Are you going to freak out? Understand that traffic happens. Things come up. Usually at this time of the day, there's traffic. So why bother getting worked up over it? All right. That's recognizing your resiliency and saying, sure, maybe I could have avoided this if I listened to GPS. I don't know. But again, what are my options here? Keep your composure. The traffic may ease up. There may just be a little jam up, whatever the case may be. It's not permanent. It's temporary. So it's a little thing. It's not a big thing. Yeah. And it's definitely a challenge. Miss Prestigious, you're right. It's definitely a challenge. And that's why keeping it is so important to thinking critically. So, okay. Keeping your composure. I'm going to give you an example. This is the interpretation bias. This is the part I like because we all do this in some way, shape, or form. I do look at certain situations as how little or how much damage control is needed, which helps me feel less overwhelmed. And yeah, Haiv, that's good because you're processing it and you're able to regulate your emotions. Not everything deserves your energy. I love that saying. Not everything deserves your energy, or your attention. There are some things you can just go, it's not that big a deal. Doesn't matter. And it's not saying you don't care. It's just you care less. So here's the example I want to give you in terms of interpretation bias. Okay. So those of you who work for someone. All right. I want to know the feeling that comes to mind. All right. I don't want to know the thought. I want to know the feeling that you get. Okay. Hang on. When I keep my composure, I sometimes get blamed for not caring enough about situation. That's not your responsibility, West Coast. Who's blaming you? They're personalizing that. You make me feel like you don't care. When you do that, it makes me feel like you don't care. No, it's just, I just care less. It's not, that I don't care what's going on here. It's just I'm able to process it differently. That's the other person personalizing it. So, it's okay that you don't have to as well. So, okay, here's your example. I want to know what it is, what you're feeling, not what you're thinking, what you're feeling. Your boss walks up to you at work, comes up to you and says, I need to talk to you. Come see me later. What are you feeling? I've been told at work I'm too calm during a crisis. I feel someone has to be calm. Yeah, somebody does, yeah. Okay, scared. Scared, LOL. Your boss walks up and says, I need to talk to you. Come see me later. What are you feeling? I would feel great. Okay. And there's no right or wrong answer. Just want to know your feeling. The terror. Curious, the terror. Okay. Feel like I want to die because I don't know if I did something wrong. It could also mean something good's about to happen. Okay. So yeah. So great. Mixed bag in that maybe okay. Yeah. Amani Experience has Twitch University. He's on from 8 to 10 on his channel. He does his thing as well. Monty's good people. Nervous. Yeah. So nervous. There's some anxiety there. There's some nervous. There's insecurity. There's, like Ange said, oh my God, I want to die. Like, let's not freak out now. But yeah, I mean, there's fear, anxiety, nervous, insecurity. So again, this is all interpretation bias. All your boss said to you was, in a calm tone, it was neutral. The way it was presented, all they said was, I need to talk to you. Come see me later. And look at this. Nervous, anxious, insecure, fear. So, yeah, the question I have is, do you panic? You worry about getting into trouble for something? Or, you worried about getting fired, like you said? So, this isn't, there's nothing directed that was implied that it was negative. There was nothing negative or pessimistic about their approach. There was nothing condescending about it. And just like DJ Cruz said, it could be good news. But the research will show you that we have that natural inclination to react negatively. We interpret these things negatively in any kind of ambiguous situation. Again, it was neutral. But we are conditioned, programmed to react negatively to that. So with that being, again, it's conditioned. It's a learned behavior in that if we're going to react negatively, react, not respond. If we're going to react negatively to that, this is interpretation bias. All right. And something like this, situations like this, people like that do this are 6 times more likely to show symptoms of depression. No, I'm not saying any of you are clinically depressed. I'm not saying you have major depressive disorder. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying through that conditioning, through that interpretation bias, 6 times more likely to show symptoms of depression. Whereas a positive interpretation bias results in someone being more resilient. So practicing and recognizing their resilience. So again, in those instances where it's entirely neutral, hey, listen, we got to talk. Hey, listen, when you have time, can we talk about something? Again, fight or flight. Were you nervous? Were you anxious? Or are you the person who takes it in stride and says, hey, great, man. Yeah, no problem. Let me finish up what I'm doing, or let me clear some time for you and we'll talk. There's the difference in that, how we interpret it. That interpretation bias. So being conditioned. What are you raising your hand for, Amber? Let me see. Based on previous conversations that have started off the same way. Manisha, and that's what I'm saying, in terms of our past experiences or our conditioning, a lot of times we will react that way. But someone who is recognizing their resilience and understanding that whatever this person has to say to me, I'm able to handle it. I'm able to take it in stride. I'm resilient enough to understand that things happen. So I may be fired. I may get a promotion. We don't know. They maybe want to break up with me. They maybe want to take things to the next step. I'm going to take it in stride. Easier said, yes, but it's a practice. It's recognizing that resilience. And then also, and one way to do that is remaining calm, being in control. You need to be proactive. So keeping your composure. It's not just being able to just stand there and go, okay, I got this, showing no emotion whatsoever. It's also considering your beliefs and your expectations that produce emotions in the first place. So yes, you're able to have those thoughts all run through your head. This is part of processing it. All right. Oh my gosh, am I going to be fired? What did I do? Did I mess up on that paper? Oh my God. Why does she want to talk to me? Well, like you're processing all these things, and then you're preparing yourself for what's to come. So here's the example. If you expect that nothing will ever go wrong with that project, then you're good. All right? Nothing's going to go wrong. I did everything that was asked of me. The boss asked me to do this project. I completed it. Everything is good. Everything should be fine. All right? Or it's actually healthy to think, this is a lot of work. This is a tough task. Something could go wrong. That's actually healthy to think that. Again, that anxiety. It's healthy to think that. But it's also healthy to think that if something does go wrong, I'll be able to manage it. I can handle it. All right? I'm prepared for whatever comes my way. And a good way to recognize that is to just expect that everything will be harder than you expect. Oh, great. Now I'll never get started. No, what I mean is that if something is presented to you, understand that there's going to be a little more expectation on your end, and you can be proactive in that. You're willing to put it out there and do that thing. Oh, yeah, DJ Eyes. Yeah. I remember that with Amani, yeah. Yeah, Cruz, your parents saying we got to talk. Definitely is. Sure, boss. Let me scan everything I've done in the last 2 months and I'll come right in to talk to you. I'm checking your emails. That's it. The Catholic in me, I thought to panic first. All right. So we've got vision. We got composure. Stepping down to reasoning. All right. So reasoning, after we were proactive, we were able to approach things in that calm manner, but understanding and processing that things could go right, things can go wrong. Expecting them to go wrong, but understanding that I'll be able to handle this. I can manage this. We're reasoning, okay? Our creativity and innovative problem solving is incredibly useful when facing challenges along the way. So having that innovative and creative style, hey, I'm able to be resilient. I'm able to be resourceful. I'm able to do all of these things. But in order to be reasonable and be creative and innovative, you also have to keep that composure. That's the key. That's why composure is above it. Ugh. So, how do I just step into it? All right. When things just happen, right? How do I reason? Boss wants to talk to me, or instance occurs. This happened. How do I reason with this? Well, problem solving, resourcefulness, anticipate and plan. Anticipate and plan. Hey, DJ 9 Iron, how are you? So again, this is like composure, but this is like the writing it out process, weighing the pros and cons, listing all the things that could go wrong, listing all the things that could go right. So you're applying those critical thinking skills, again, writing them down on pen and paper. Some of you like Excel spreadsheets or Word docs, however you want to do it. But it's again about being proactive. So I kind of liken this example in this way. With anticipating and planning. So again, like composure, it's not just about applying critical thinking during a crisis, but also taking action ahead of time. We're writing these things down, we're making our list and checking it twice. So my example is that it's like going to the dentist. So you won't need the root canal later, right? If you go to the dentist every 6 months, you take care of your teeth. You do everything in the process. You're flossing and you have the electric toothbrush and you go to the dentist, right? So that next time you go to the dentist, everything should be good, right? Everything should check out. Everything's, no cavities, no root canal, nothing needed. You did everything you need to do. You dotted your I's, you crossed your T's, and you anticipated that next time I go to the dentist, everything's going to be fine because I planned for this, right? You're thinking proactively. How things may go wrong and take action ahead of time to prevent or minimize impact. And you think through how you'll deal with it with different scenarios. Oh, that was a surprise. I maybe ate too much candy or, whatever the dentist may throw at you. Hey, you need to floss more. Okay, I got this, right? It wasn't the boss. I didn't give you anything on a bigger scale, but I just wanted to give you that example. Mixed mat. Mixed mat, it depends. With Asperger's, because it's a broad spectrum, depending on where you are on that. It's not that it makes you more anxious. Again, if you're able to channel that anxiety, and also we talked about that earlier in terms of like where you place that anxiety. Are you able to pinpoint what makes you anxious? New, different situations, or is there anything that you could, again, be able to pick up on? So it's not something that necessarily makes you, but also where you fall on that spectrum of Asperger's, high functioning, low functioning. There's a lot of different things in there. It's not something I could just answer with a simple answer. But coming back to reasoning, like I said, okay, so we made it through the dentist. We're good. So you're being resourceful. Okay? You've anticipated, you dotted your I's, you crossed your T's, you made all the steps that you need to do. You're being resourceful. You have all the right information, all the tools, all the techniques, and all the people that you need that you work with. Everything is available to solve problems for you. All right? You got everything in your corner, and you're finding more efficient ways to reach your goals. Resourcefulness is a skill we need to actively build. And the more resourceful we are, the easier it becomes to make unusual connections and find innovative ways forward. What? Does that make sense? Yes. Being resourceful. Yo, guys, this job is overwhelming. This is going to be a group effort. I'm going to need you to do this. I'm going to need you to do that. I'm going to quarterback this. Boom, 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 boom. That's being resourceful. Again, it's being proactive. This is the part where we're reasoning. Understanding that I can't take all of this on, so therefore I'm going to call on my team and do those things. That also falls under collaboration, and when we get over there as far as like the other side of the board. One thing I like about reasoning, though, is that when we are recognizing our resilience, we're able to see opportunity in change. A lot of times, someone who is able to reason or has a high reasoning ability is that they welcome change. They welcome things to be different. Taking on more tasks at work, taking on a new role, traveling for jobs. They're able to change environments and they welcome it. They're not afraid. Kind of like we were talking earlier in terms of anxiety. They're excited for change. They're excited for the unknown instead of being afraid. West Coast, definitely. Definitely you can screenshot it. So with that, being able to see opportunity and change is another way to recognize your resiliency. Again, like I said in the beginning, recognize where you were 10 months ago as to where you are now. Did you see any opportunities that you maybe slept on, reluctant to take, hesitant, or kind of not sure? Or did you say, wow, I now have a lot of downtime. I'm able to make that change, or I'm able to do these things that I didn't think I could do before, right? So that's another way of looking at the reasoning and also the resourcefulness of being resilient. So tenacity. I'm going to skip over health. I'm going to go to tenacity. So on the left side of the board, being persistent. Persistence is the key. So we all heard of Einstein, right? Albert Einstein. Einstein pointed out the importance of persistence for success when he said, it's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with the problems longer. So staying with something means that we're going to be frustrated. We're going to get exhausted. We're going to think we've come to every conclusion we can come to. But it's a problem for a reason, because there is a solution. So staying with it. We need to be willing to work hard and smart and stay with a problem if we hope to achieve something. Especially if you want to achieve something that no one else has, getting through this coronavirus. What do you got, Ange? I feel like maybe I should have taken more opportunities, but at the same time, it was a pandemic, so not trying to beat myself up about everything. No, and that too. That's another part of recognizing your resiliency, because a lot of people will compare and contrast. They'll feel like, oh, this is the time. If you didn't learn a new skill, if you didn't do this, and you didn't take advantage of this, then you missed out. No, some people just needed that reset. Some people actually needed to slow down in order to build themselves up. It's not a race. Again, we have no idea when this is going to end. We have no idea what comes next. But you're right in that's another way of recognizing your resiliency, is that you didn't beat yourself up over something because you didn't take advantage of something or make the most of something. If anything, you did it in a way that worked for you. So again, that's reasoning. That's composure, because you made peace with it. You actually were able to regulate those emotions and said, oh my God, I missed out. Why did I do this 5 months ago? Because I'm doing it now. And now is okay. So rest and reset, yes, is exactly what you need for sure. Definitely. So again, with persistence, coming back to tenacity, being persistent. So you stay at something, you stay at it, you stay at it, you stay at it. But also you learn from your mistakes. If you stay at something and you make the mistake, 9 times out of 10, a lot of people, when they make a mistake or fail or mess up, they stop. They get frustrated. Like I said here with Twitch, the one time I had a bad stream and the audio was bad, I could have quit. I could have said, it's not good for me. It's not going to do it. I don't know what I'm doing. But understanding that I'm persistent, I'm staying at it, and I'm going to make mistakes. Allowing yourself to recognize that I'm resilient, recognize that I'm human, recognizing that I'm not perfect, and also allowing myself to learn from these mistakes. You're going to suck at anything you try for the first time. Newsflash. There you go. You are going to suck at it. So why not suck less? Stay with it. Stay with it. Keep giving it a try. Miss Denise, I have so much plans for this year. I don't know where to begin. Just begin from the beginning. Whatever gravitates or whatever pulls you in that direction, just start there and then do the rest. So again, learn from those mistakes, but don't dwell on them. You did that for a reason. I tried it. It didn't work. I'm going to try it this way now. Don't dwell on the mistakes that you made. Learn from them. That's the key, because a lot of times people beat themselves up over the things that they did wrong instead of recognizing and appreciating the things that they did right. So doing that by learning from those mistakes, this also gives you the tenacity and the realistic optimism. All right? Don't be naive. Don't think again you're going to do it in one shot or two shots. It's going to take some time. So believe it or not, and I found this to be interesting, research shows that people who are overly optimistic about succeeding are less likely to. Because a lot of times they're going to give up at the first sign of trouble. And I find that interesting because a lot of times people are like, they're optimistic. I'm going to get this done and I'm going to do this and I'm going to be that and I'm going to be this. I'll give you the example here on Twitch. A lot of us here came on here. We saw maybe some other DJs or some other streamers doing what they do. And we're like, well, if they can do it, I can do it. And I'm going to do it. And that's that. And I'm going to try it. And then maybe get through 1, 2, 3 streams. And then there's that stream that sucked. That totally messed everything up. They have audio issues or laptop issues, or they didn't get the amount of followers or viewers that they wanted, and then boom, now we're in trouble. And chances are they'll quit, or they won't stream as consistent. They won't have the tenacity. They won't have the persistence that they had. And that's interesting because I always felt that people who were, go-getters, they go at it full steam ahead, but they did not take the time to have that realistic optimism to understand that things will mess up. Things will go awry. Yeah, people that jump in feet first. Yeah, jump in, dive in head first. Yeah, that's a way of looking at it. So, it's more useful for success to have a sense of a realistic optimism, meaning that you are hopeful your ability to succeed, but you realize it's going to be tough. And that's with anything. I'm hopeful that when we get through this coronavirus, we'll be able to travel and see each other and do things. But I'm also optimistic and realistic to understand that, here we are now. I'm dealing with now, and I'm working through it. So by working through it, look up. The one above tenacity is collaboration. Twitch is an amazing example for that. In that, first things first, we are social beings. All right? We have a function, a fundamental function that we have to connect with others in order to thrive. Granted, a lot of this has been through technology. We have not had that physical interaction. We had the social interactions in terms of talking here and doing all those things, but not even with the science of the brain and the neural structures and everything like that. It's, we have to realize that we're all in this together. All right. So with this pandemic and everything that we're going through, we're in this together here on Twitch or wherever, whatever other community we may have. It's important that we have a strong support system. So like it says under collaboration, the support networks, the social context, and managing those perceptions. It's important. So let me see here. Oh, yeah. Find out where everybody's from. We're all going to hang out. Definitely do that. So again, it's important to have that strong support system. Twitch has been a great proponent for that for many of us. Positive vibes only. Yo, yo, yo. Great to see you. Every single day I'm on Twitch, I must say good morning or good afternoon to the same people all the time. But you know what? It never gets old because it lets me know that they're still here. It lets me know that they're still going through it. It lets me know that we're still in this together. And that's a good thing. So having that strong support system, having those networks, but also having those support systems support you. We can support them, but are they supporting us? All right? And that's where it kind of gets complex. Understanding and recognizing your resiliency and recognizing who your support system is. All right? Being able to build. I have the saying with the guys that I do Sassy Sundays with, it's not about me, it's about we. Knowing that we are all in this together. And if I do well, we're all going to do well. If I'm not doing well, chances are something along the way is missing there. So having that support system is important. The communication, the context, all of that is very important in terms of your collaboration. Understanding what that purpose is. What are we here for? Well, we use Twitch to get by. You know, some of us use it as a form of leisure. Some of us use it as a form of payment. You know, like some DJs are making money on here. So they've found another way to find another source of income. So it's important to recognize those things and getting that context right for you, being able to manage that perception and saying, you know, I'd rather focus on why I'm here and what I'm doing as opposed to everything else that comes with it. Let me see. Support systems are extremely important for me. I'm honestly grateful for the Twitch community. Yes, Mr. Prestigious. Yes, I agree. Don't give me that new strain stuff. Come on. Last year at this time, I was on a Soul Train. Oh, Mr. Nice, the Soul Train cruise. Yes. Wow. So, yeah. And then the last one, I left this one out for last because we're talking mental health. At the bottom there, in the middle, your health. Your health is so important. Your physical, mental, emotional health, wellness, your optimal wellness in terms of all of those things. So good health means looking after your body through what you eat, doing your exercise, getting your sleep. Those are important. A healthy body provides a strong foundation for your own resilience. You can focus on your sense of purpose and goals. Remember, the vision. You can focus on those things when you have good health. Good health is not the ultimate goal itself, but instead it enables you to achieve the vision that you want. Right? So obviously, the nutrition, quality sleep, and regular exercise. Now, I know it's tough during these times because, again, folks are talking about the anxiety. Well, I'm not working as much, so I'm just going to sit around and I'm going to eat. And I'm going to binge watch shows. And when I binge watch shows, I eat or I drink more or I do this. Again, recognizing those things. Recognizing how your body feels after eating or doing those things. That's important. Right? Yes, Ms. Prestigious, your body will tell you if you're willing to listen. That's important. So this is what I meant by bad things happening to good people. I consider all of you good people. I hope you as well consider yourselves to be good people. But this bad thing that we're going through doesn't necessarily have to be bad. Now, I know it's bad in terms of like it's affected our way of life. It's affected our routines and the things we once enjoyed. But how bad do you have it as opposed to those who no longer have anything? Right? So recognizing where we were 10 months ago to where we are now. Understanding that I went through these things. I'm going through this. And my vision and my focus is to be here. Ultimately want to be here. So recognizing that bad things will happen. It's how we, again, use these 6 domains here on the screen. It's how we channel those emotions, keep our composure, use our support systems when needed. Atina, Twitch doesn't help with sleep when there are... Atina, you stay on Twitch though. That's I mean, that's what we was talking about earlier about, being able to just step away. And that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Again, me personally, I can only speak for me. I appreciate all of you in terms of your followers, the subscribers. I appreciate those of you who check in here with Mental Health Monday, Sassy Sundays, Battle Thursdays, all the things that myself, I do here, all the other streamers, because I know a lot of people, a lot of viewers, I should say, aren't really aware of the behind the scenes, that we do here as DJs, curating the music and the playlist and the themes and the presentations that we come up with. So when we finally do press go or press start on the stream and you guys are here and you appreciate it and you really get invested in it, that means so much. It really does. So you to get sucked in, like Atina just said, for you to get sucked into it, that really, really resonates with us because it shows that, wow, we are making that connection. We definitely are. Yeah, Cruz, it definitely is exciting. It is. And Miss Prestigious, that's not a bad idea to set a timer. It's not a bad idea we talked about that before, about like with social apps and things like that, about being able to monitor your activity. I spend way too much time on Instagram, or I spend way too much time on this app. Setting a timer. There's nothing wrong with doing that. And again, being able to step away, making the ability to step away. It's not bad. DJ 9 Iron, take care, man. Appreciate you being here. So my last